Hey Rock and Metal Guardians, it's Dane. Welcome back to the channel and happy Monday. Today I'm going to review the 3 CD version of Santana's live album Lotus recorded in Osaka, Japan. And as you can see, it's a Japanese import. This will be a 2-part video because it's 3 CDs and I'm going to do a track-by-track discussion. And of course start with the artwork. So when you open the first part of the gatefold, you get this, and some things slide off to give you other art. So the gatefold within a gatefold is this. As many of you know already, Carlos Santana is a very spiritual and religious man. You have Buddha in the center, you have a Hindu god here, and Jesus over here. And when the things come off the side, you get more spiritual things. You get a band shot here, and you get the first half side of the airplane right here. Oops, right here. All right, and then the other part that comes out, you get the second half of the airplane, and then you get some more spiritual stuff here. All right, you also get some photos that slide out front and back. There's the band with the track listing. Okay. There's Carlos. All right. You also get some facsimiles of concert tickets if you're into that sort of thing. You also get 2 booklets. This has a lot of nice colored photos, and as you can see, the front has the Caravanserei album cover. The back is Abraxas, which I won't show you. And you get some nice photos. I'll just show you that one. It's probably the nicest photo in there. The bigger booklet, the size of the CD is there, and then the back, just like the CD case that it comes in, or box I should say. Most of this is written in Japanese, so unless you can read in Japanese, it's not, much you can do with it. But there are quite a few there's a couple things in English, but most of it's in Japanese. As I said, you get some nice photos. There's Carlos sitting under a tree. There's also a black and white version of that, and he's I think he's trying to sit in the full lotus position, where here he's just kind of relaxed. And of course, kind of a facsimile of what you would get if you got this on vinyl. You get the insert sleeve here, and then when you pull the record out, you actually have just a plastic piece, and then the disc pulls off of here for all 3. This will be a 2-part video, if I haven't said already, because I'm going to discuss the whole spiel track by track. So we'll start with that now. The first track is Meditation, which is exactly what it says. You have someone come up to the mic and talk in Spanish for about 30 seconds, and then you get a moment of silence. And a quick story: I remember being a teenager going into the French Quarter shopping for used vinyl, and a guy had just dropped a Santana record on the turntable, and one of the other employees said, do we have to listen to that? It's a minute of silence. And the guy who dropped the record on the turntable said, but it's Santana doing a minute of silence. And I thought that was funny. I didn't ask at the time what song it was. I wish I had, but this is clearly the piece here. Then the second song is Going Home, a short piece. It's an organ piece followed by someone coming up to the mic saying thank you. Then you get the third song, A1 Funk. That's a new track, and this is an odd song because it's just laser sounds, like 2 people fighting each other with laser guns. Sounds like something from a sci-fi movie, but you get a little bit of guitar and organ at the end in the mix, and there's a cool backbeat with some bass at the end. But for me personally, it's a throwaway. Things don't get going really to the 4th song, which is Every Step of the Way. Great song. There's a great guitar here, and great everything really. This is a Caravanserei song. Again, this is the tour for that album. So no Greg Rowley, no Neil Sean. Tracks 5 through 7 are staples of their live show, and that would be Black Magic Woman, Gypsy Queen, and Oi Como Va, if I'm pronouncing that right. These are spectacular. Okay, you have Leon Thomas on the vocals, as I said, no Greg Rowley or Raleigh. He's been described as the John Coltrane of jazz vocalists. And it's charming at times. His voice is charming at times, others not so much. For the most part, his voice and what he does, his stage presence, works quite well with the rest of the band. Again, he's not Greg, but there are some things on here I don't like, which I'll get to, but for the most part, it works. So Leon Thomas on vocals. Next, you get a new track, a previous unreleased track called Japan, and if you're familiar with Tokyo Tapes by the Scorpions, there's 1 or 2 tracks, depending on which version you get of that, where Klaus Meine sings a Japanese song. I guess it's a tradition that if you go overseas and you're in Japan, you do that. I'm not sure, but here we have it. This is a song about Japanese people. It's a song about its people, its culture. It's also a song about love. It's a soft rhyming song. However, we do have some, I don't think it's tuba and throat singing, but there's some throat singing going on. Not something I care for. It's the repetition of oi yo yo. That's not so bad, but some of the other stuff of the throat singing isn't my cup of tea. And there's a nice recorder, or maybe it's a zither. I'm not sure which. Anyway, so make of that what you will, doing, an homage to the Japanese people and culture. Kind of, I guess, like a thank you, thanks for having us here, that kind of thing. Next is Bambile, also a previously unreleased track. This is a tribal song. You get a lot of Afro-Latin beats. There's chanting, there's congas, there's that recorder zither back, which I actually like that. The bass kicks in near the end. There's some Hammond organ, some drums, then guitar also near the end. Last minute or so, you have the traditional instruments of a rock band mixed in with what I previously said. So the next song, also a previously unreleased song, is called if I'm saying that right, ... ... This is a song about taking care of yourself. There's a nice electric piano in moments. That's really nice, actually. And the backbeat is quite good. Here's a track that I have issues with, because there's these silly noises. I'm not sure if they are traditional Afro-Latin beats. I don't think that they are. But there's these silly noises, throat noises again, but they don't sound exotic. They just sound silly. They don't last long, but they do come into the song and leave and then come back again. So, but I get what Carlos is trying to do. He's letting everyone on this album showcase their talents, and I have to respect that, and I do respect that. People have said that this album is where Santana takes a back seat. I think that's a bit of a stretch or an exaggeration. The way I see it is that he's not hogging the limelight. He's letting everyone showcase their talents. And when he does step into the limelight, boy, does he step into the limelight. So, okay, knowing the guitarist that he is. So he's letting Thomas showcase his talents here. There's also some blues here. I call it a blues theme. It's not really a blues song, really, because it's very ethnic and exotic. But when Thomas sings, it's kind of a talking, singing blend at times when he's not doing the throat thing, and the underlying bass is cool. So the parts of this track I like, and parts of it that I don't. But overall, so far the tracks that I don't like are Japan. Again, I respect what they're doing, but I can do without Japan. And Next is 11, Yours Is the Light, which is from the Welcome album. For me personally, the best song on the Welcome album, the highlight of that album. A really cool song here. It's great live. There's some great guitar here. You can dance to it if you want. And like so many of the tracks here, if not all of them, there's great underlying bass here. So that's disc 1. Disc 2 starts with Batuka from Santana 3. It's short and sweet, and you can dance to it. And that segs into Shibaba, and that's a new track. This is a nice percussion and organ tune. It's an instrumental, not too long. And then you get an even shorter, briefer song called the intro to Stoneflower. So Stoneflower, some guitar here, and the bass joins in. Some electric piano is back on this track. It's subtle and brief at times, but it's quite enjoyable. And there's some quick guitar jabs from Santana here, similar to what Martin Barre does on Thick as a Brick, where you have these cool, heavy jabs right at you. So I thought that was kind of cool. Anyway, next, number 15 from the first album is the song Waiting. I won't say much about that. This is just a great overall nice live version of that song. And then you have track 16 is a new track. I'm translating from the Spanish, Sandcastle, or Castle in the Sand. And part 1, wow. I wrote down here, wow. Got to say that, right? Wow. There's just some great guitar here. And there is that return of that sci-fi laser fighting at one point, which I don't care for. But for the most part, it's a great, listenable, enjoyable track. One of the highlights of the whole album. Next, we get another new track that wasn't on the 2 CD version as Angela. Before I talk about Angela, this version, the 3 CD, is about, well, it's 2 hours and 37 minutes. So it's the full concert experience, which I like. I'm not a big fan of one disc, or you don't get the whole concert experience. Like, you miss out if you don't get the bonus track version of Judas Priest Unleashed in the East, and you don't get the full version of the Allman Brothers live at the Fillmore, things like that. So that's my point. So just a great all-around song is Angela. You get a funky beat with quick guitar jabs, kind of similar to what I said before. You get some wah-wah, and sounds a bit like Miles Davis because of the funk and the wah-wah stuff going on. Then you get a mix of bluesy guitar coming in, which I think showcases the second half of the song. This is a marvelous track. Just some electric piano, bass and drums, and keeping the backbeat all very tight. The whole album is very tight. Just a great band all around. Next is 18. Track 18, Angela segues into Samba del Sausalito, and this is from Welcome. Again, this sounds like Miles Davis. There's some electric piano. It's danceable, though. There's some guitar and Latin backbeat, and just some nice phrasing from Carlos's guitar. Then we get the song Mantra. This is also from Welcome. This is a great instrumental. It's a long piece, coming in at 7 minutes and change. The guitar near the end of this instrumental piece is just fabulous, and there's some nice electric piano. It's not all guitar. The guitar piece is at the end, but there's some nice electric piano. It's just splendid. It's a great track, and that segues into Kyoto, which is a drum solo, and you have more of the weird sci-fi effects later on in this track, and this kind of, unlike the previous song that had that, this kind of takes away from enjoying the drum solo as a whole. Then you get Castles in the Sand, or Sandcastle Part 2. This is a minute and change. Lots of guitar, wah-wah, Hammond organ, and a dance beat. It's quite good. Then you get song number 22, previous unreleased Light of Life. Vocals, essentially nothing special here, I wrote. It's a Latin Afro lounge song, a Latin African lounge style song, like a lounge act. It's just Thomas showcasing his vocals again. It's a throwaway for me, don't care for it. And then we get the wonderful Say a Cabo from Abraxas, and most of you are familiar with that song, so I won't say much about it, just say that it's a great live version of that song on Abraxas. So that's discs 1 and 2. So I'll have a separate video for disc 3. Thanks for joining, and have a great day.